Audi on the left, Addie on the right, and this Michigan team coming in their 7th straight NCAA appearance, and right away we have a tie-up. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you. First of 2 games coming your way, and we welcome you to what will be a long and wonderful day on the ESPN networks of women's college basketball. Retip again, and there's Emily Ryan. Got off to a bit of a rocky start, then was an absolute superstar in the 4th quarter in that comeback against Princeton. Michigan forces the turnover as Iowa State tried to get it into Crooks.
And you're going to see Michigan's activity off the ball really coming in to try to get some deflections, get some steals, not allow Crooks to get touches.
Today's starting lineups brought to you by Capital One, and you are looking at 3 freshmen, and Olsen, Holloway, and Swords. Jordan Hobbs, the only senior on this team, has stuck it out with this program. Swords gets blocked by Crooks and then is able to get out of trouble. Hobbs, great start for her. And one of the players that Coach Barnes-Arico is just really enamored with, and should be.
Well, I mean, she talks about Jordan Hobbs' leadership, a senior on this team. She was a freshman when Michigan went to the Sweet 16 in 2022, so she has experience.
She did not play early in her career in the NCAA tournament. Holloway, one of the 3 freshmen playing point, has started every game this year as a freshman at the point. And Silas Swords got fouled by Addie Brown. So only 3 players on their team with any experience. Hobbs, 5 of them all at Michigan. Cam Schrader, 2 with Michigan. Graviskaya had her experience in her previous school, Middle Tennessee. So not a lot. This is their very first game. Iowa State did again play on Wednesday. They only have 1 senior on their entire roster, and that's the person with the ball, Emily Ryan.
When you think about this Michigan team, and while they don't have NCAA experience, Silas Ward certainly has international experience playing on the Olympic team this summer. Olivia Olsen has international experience on USA Basketball. They played in big games.
And there's a big 3 from Kelsey Jones from the famous Jones family that has sent 3 sisters to Iowa State. There's still another one yet to come. There's 1 more Jones sister, right? Still in high school?
Still in high school. You see Audie Crooks talking to Jones, telling her to drive the lane, really try to put Michigan in rotation.
Well, Audie Crooks was in the lane a long time, didn't get the ball.
We still call it 3 seconds? I don't think that's
so.
a thing anymore.
It might be a 30-second thing. Olsen with the miss. And Brown, you mentioned it, she was so spectacular. Talk about a family. She comes from a family of basketball players herself. Crooks over the back, picks up the foul, and that's one thing to keep an eye on. Crooks not getting in foul trouble. Talked about Kim Barnes-Arico, now in her 13th year, has taken Michigan to the NCAA tournament 7 times, and congratulations. Bill Fenley picked up career win number 800 with that comeback victory over Princeton.
Bill Finley's been an outstanding coach for a long time. Was an assistant coach here at Notre Dame back in the 80s. Head coach at Toledo prior to Iowa State.
Jackson picks up the foul. Fenley now in his 30th year at Iowa State, which ties Tom Izzo at Michigan State for the longest tenured head coaches in Division I basketball, men's and women's. Olsen gets it tipped by Ryan, and Crooks picks up the ball. And Emily Ryan with an assist has just passed the great Nia Johnson for the most assists in Big 12 women's basketball history. Cam Schrader finishes on the other end.
And pace, pace, pace. Kim Barnes-Arico talked to us about this yesterday. They really want to push tempo. They want to score in transition. And this is also a team that shoots more 3s than you're typically used to seeing a Kim Barnes-Arico team shoot. And you watch Cam Schrader down low on Audie Crooks. She's going to use her speed to try to get around, be disruptive.
Swords with the offhand. Olsen, who was the co-freshman of the year in the Big Ten, drew the foul on the follow.
This is a Michigan team that plays 5 guards, so they are going to push tempo. They want to play in transition. Great job of keeping their head up. Anybody can bring the ball down the floor. Anybody can initiate offense, and Kemp Schroeder gets an easy 2.
Emily Ryan picked up the foul, and it sends Olsen to the line, a freshman from New Hope, Minnesota. And she has been just wonderful for them. And there's the 3 freshmen, almost 3, averaging in double figures. Holloway just a touch under 10 points per game.
And we were talking with Sarah Van Meter, the media relations coordinator from Michigan, who was a great player at Eastern Michigan, and she talked about Olivia Olsen being a typical Kim Barnes-Arico kid. Right, just the toughness, the competitive spirit, the way she approaches every single day at practice, her intensity, her composure.
Kemp Schroeder just picked up the foul. Yeah, Sarah said she did. If ever a player was manufactured to play for KBA, it is Olsen, who comes from Minnesota. And with swords, they have been a great 1-2 punch. Hobbs, the only senior, the only returning starter. A good look. And Sydney Harris is known for taking a 3, and as soon as she gets in there, she pops one home.
Well, Iowa State just does such a good job of Jordan Hobbs getting a 2 there, but they do such a good job of luring you into helping on that roller in the on-ball screen, and then they find the skip, they make the right play, and this is a heck of a play. We talked about the experience of Jordan Hobbs in the NCAA tournament, her leadership, her intensity and impact for this Michigan team.
She started every game the last couple of years, and Addie Brown has just picked up her 2nd foul, so she heads to the bench. We had 0 foul calls on either team Wednesday with Iowa State and Princeton until the 2nd quarter, and Iowa State had 7 fouls all game. That's their 5th of this quarter.
Well, this Michigan team plays differently, right? You've got 5 perimeter players. They're going to look to attack. They're going to look to push. They're going to put pressure on defense to contain you. And Bill Finley talked about it yesterday. Wanted them to see bodies on drives.
Totally different from the way Princeton plays. That's an air ball that's rescued in by Holloway. And Michigan, as you mentioned, just here we go with the pace. Hobbs back to Olsen. Good look. A little bit too strong. And Michael McConnell says the ball stays with Michigan. Kevin Spark and Angel Kent, our other officials this morning. This game started at 10:30 Iowa time. That's early. Hobbs in and out. Crooks grabs the board, but look at Holloway just take it away from her. And then spots up. Great box out by Jackson. And they're going to get swords for the foul. Now, Jackson is a player that does not score a lot of points, but did a great job defensively to shut down Chia in the 2nd half for Princeton the other day.
Yeah, she did. Actually, she had 14 points in the 1st half and didn't have a point in the 2nd half. And Ariana Jackson is the reason why.
Jackson, a sophomore from Des Moines. And there's the first we've seen of Crooks putting the ball in the basket. Coming off a 27-point effort against Princeton.
And you get the made shot, it allows Iowa State to go to their 2-3 zone, and they really want to play this zone to keep Michigan out of the paint. Crooks, it's been tough for her to get some touches early in the ball game, but when she does, there's no stopping her. Right here, 2 feet in the paint, she's able to go to work.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallets? First round presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. And in part by the Invitation to Lexus sales event now through March 31st. And there's a celebration on Wednesday when Bill Finley got his 800th career win with that come from behind victory over Princeton. The youngsters you saw in there were his grandchildren. And speaking of youngsters, look at him when he was an assistant here at Notre Dame.
Bill Finley's been around for a long time. I first met him many, many years ago when I was a camper at Purdue. Lynn Dunn used to have college coaches come in and work camps, and Bill Finley was there, and he's been a great mentor to many young coaches and has done an outstanding job at Iowa State.
He's had a lot of assistants that have gone on to be Division I head coaches. His son Billy is on the bench as his assistant. There he is, standing up on the left side of your screen. But yeah, Finley, and you congratulate him. He goes, it's just because I've been around a long time. And obviously that helps, but when you're winning a lot more than you're losing, that certainly adds up to 800 wins. So congratulations to him. 23rd NCAA appearance, all of them under him. Swords bringing the ball up. Michigan has gone cold from the floor, missing their last 4 shots after a hot start. Yulia Grabovskaya has checked in. Number 55 in white, but Swords uses the baseline. That's 6 rebounds a game, by the way, leads Michigan. Freshman guard leading them in rebounds. Grabovskaya is a post player. Now she gets the assignment on Crooks. Ryan trying to get it to her. She does. And there's a foul.
Well, Michigan, the way that they play, they do such a good job of spacing the floor and looking at these driving attacks. And Silas Swords plays along that baseline, does a great job of using her size to get into a smaller defender.
Olsen and Swords. Swords scoring today, going over the 500-point mark for the season. That's the first freshman duo ever to do it in the Big Ten. And she goes over and talks to Kim Barnes-Arico, talked about, she played in the Olympics right out of high school with Canada, was there in Paris, and got a lot of experience there, but consequently didn't get to practice much with Michigan.
Came back a little fatigued, didn't get a lot of reps in the preseason, as you mentioned, and then came out against South Carolina and had 27.
27 and 12. How about a double-double against one of the best teams in the country for what was then an 18-year-old. She's since turned 19. In and out for Quarles Daniels, who is in her first year at Ann Arbor, played a couple of years at Oakland in Michigan. And a held ball after the Reagan Wilson miss. The arrow goes to Michigan. That's Natalie Achunwa. Notre Dame fans know her well for what she did here. They were teammates last year in Paris, the youngest in Swords, the oldest in Achunwa. They are 13 years and 2 months apart in age.
I love that picture. I think that's just incredible. They were able to share that experience together and now continue to share an experience here in Michigan. And of course, Natalie Achunwa, an all-time great here at Notre Dame.
Another empty possession for Michigan. Natalie Achunwa, as you see, was here. Had a good run in the WNBA, played in 4 Olympics for Canada, which is the most for any player, male or female.
And I believe at the time was one of the youngest Olympics when she came to Notre Dame and played for Team Canada as well. So full circle.
Yeah, from the youngest to the oldest, right? Boy, Michigan just 25% from the floor, but still leading by 3. Crooks with a rare miss. And then she'll get called for the foul on the follow, and now Crooks and Brown both have 2. They're 2 most important players.
Well, this is a great pass on the interior, and usually that's a money play for Audie Crooks, and then goes to try to keep the play alive and gets the second foul. And that is at times a problem for Audie Crooks, getting in foul trouble early.
She's only fouled out of 1 game this year, but it certainly affects things when she picks up the early ones. And Michigan's in the bonus right now. Hobbs at the line. Nails them both. Iowa State's gone over 2.5 minutes without a bucket. And they're playing now without either Brown or Crooks. They're 2 leading scorers.
Bill Finley was telling us in practice yesterday, they haven't played a lot of teams that hard show the way that Michigan does on the on-ball screen, so that's an adjustment for them. And Emily Ryan, of course, the experienced point guard, is going to have to navigate it.
There's Brown and Crooks sitting side by side on the bench. Emily Ryan, well, she's been playing hurt all year, and Bill Fenley thought maybe because she's a senior, that maybe the weight of that, thinking every game could be my last, might take a toll on her. And she actually had to take almost a personal timeout against Princeton in the other game.
Yeah, she was struggling a little bit in that third quarter, had a couple of tough turnovers and a missed layup right in sequence, and Bill Fenley took her out. He said, I went over to talk to her, and she just looked at me and said, I got it, I just need a minute. And then he said, okay, when you're ready, check yourself back in, and she did. And boy, she took control in that fourth quarter and willed her team to the victory.
Ashley Jones has more wins in an Iowa State uniform. Ryan scoreless in the first half, had 9 points and 6 assists to end things up. Was active defensively as well, a lot of deflections. Hobbs, short, rebound by Lisa Williams, who redshirted after a year at LSU. Not the regular lineup you're used to seeing for the Cyclones. Olsen has yet to hit a field goal. Hobbs driving off glass and hits it over Jones.
That's a tough angle for Jordan Hobbs, but you can see the intention of Michigan to just put their head down, drive one-on-one, get to the rim. And Bill Fenley talked about our ability to contain one-on-one defense, to play in the gaps, to keep them from getting to the rim is going to be key.
Give Ryan the assist as she's able to find Williams inside. Now Michigan can drive into the lane knowing that Crooks isn't anywhere to be found. Holloway has not yet scored. Now she has, slicing in for the bucket, the freshman from Charlotte. Tanky fouled her.
And you can just see the intention of continuing to drive to the basket, and that's a tough one from Jordan Hobbs. And then again, attacking the paint, getting 2 feet in the paint. Mila Holloway with the tough 2.
Michigan, the only school with multiple freshmen who have started 30 games, Olsen, Holloway, and Swords, are those 3. Holloway, honorable mention, all Big Ten. The lead is 6. Harris, known for her three-point shooting, drives the lane and got it blocked.
Just the activity level defensively by Michigan. I mean, they're flying around, they're taking away vision, they're forcing Iowa State to play a little faster than they'd want to play.
Getting their hands up too for deflection. Swords trying to get it into Olsen, and Ryan got a hand on it. It ultimately deflected off of Olsen. Barnes-Arico with the most wins for any basketball coach in Michigan history, coming over after a very successful run at St. John's.
Bill Fenley putting Addie Brown back in for this last offensive possession with her 2 fouls.
And no shot clock. Ryan spinning and coming to meet her Holloway. Michigan's defense has been all over the Cyclones. 7 turnovers for Iowa State in the first quarter, just 4 made shots. One of them by Sydney Harris, but Jordan Hobbs has been terrific. She's got 10. Thank you, Kelsey. And we are starting the second quarter, and yeah, an Iowa State team that was without Crooks and Brown because of the foul trouble. And they trail 19-13. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you from Notre Dame. The Irish will play Stephen F. Austin after this is over, and that is Olsen's first field goal, one of the 3 starting freshmen for the Wolverines.
I think it's going to be important to get Addie Brown going. She didn't have a field goal attempt in that first quarter because of foul trouble. She is so instrumental in everything they do, and you see the hard hedge right there. Great job by Michigan, making Iowa State take 2 passes before they can even look inside to Crooks.
They gave Crooks a little bit of space, and that's all she needs. She can finish with either hand. Addie Brown also did not take a shot in the fourth quarter against Princeton, so she's not taking a shot in 2 straight quarters.
Well, she does such a good job of facilitating as well. I mean, she's a player who can go off at any moment, but also facilitating as Silas Sword picks up her second foul.
And trying to make it happen, slicing down the lane, and she will be, actually she's going to stay in the game as Hobbs coming in for Graviskaya. That was a charge.
And there's Jackson doing all those little things, putting herself in position, understanding that that drive is going to happen.
And Ariana Jackson, so crucial for this team. And things besides scoring.
See how Swords just stays in front of Crooks. We talked about that in the Princeton game, and that allows the time for the skip pass to get out in the passing lane as Olsen goes to the rim.
Olsen and Jackson hit the court hard, and no foul was called, and the ball goes to Iowa State.
The activity level again for Michigan, forcing turnovers, and this is really good defense by Jackson. A little bit of contact on the arm, but that's great D by Jackson.
Terrific. Staying with the play. See more turnovers than made field goals. Emily Ryan on the bench to start the second quarter. They've had to manage her minutes this season. Eiley Tanky, who did not play against Princeton in the first 4, hits the 3.
Tanky shoots at 30% from the three-point line. You got to pick your poison when you play a team like Iowa State. Michigan's got to continue to challenge her to knock them down.
Swords gets the rebound off the Hobbs miss, and then Hobbs is left open in the corner to knock it home.
Pam, you mentioned this early. We talked about the Sweet 16 team in 2022, of course, led by Naz Hillman. Jordan Hobbs averaged less than 5 minutes a game that season, has worked her way into being such an important piece of what Michigan does, and the answer by Jackson.
Jackson actually shooting better from three-point range than 2 during the season. Hit that one. Can't trade her, getting it out, another miss, and I'm going to call a foul on Jones, I believe. Coverage of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TNT, TBS, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. And yes, Kelsey Jones picked up the foul. Michigan men had a bit of a nail-biter last night. They beat UC San Diego. Iowa State men will play right after this game is over. So Iowa State basketball fans, you get yourself a women's men's doubleheader.
And Mila Holloway's brother plays at Alabama. They'll be playing today as well.
Jackson does it again on defense with the block. Jackson comes from an Iowa State family. Both her dad and brother played football there. Swords gets the takeaway. Holloway just saw a little bit of daylight and finished.
You think about scout defense, and when you can load up on 1 or 2 players, it makes it a little bit easier. For Michigan, you've got to guard all 5 at all times.
Makes such a difference. Brooks out of the game. Graviskaya grabbing the rebound, and another foul has been called. And they got it on Graviskaya, who is a transfer from Middle Tennessee State. She got a lot of Ariana Jackson on the way down. Graviskaya from Russia, and Jackson's going to take a bit of a break. She's from just east of where Caitlin Clark is from, right? Because Caitlin's West Des Moines. Jackson is Des Moines proper.
Slightly east.
Yes, as slight as you get, probably, right? Grabowskaia has not played many minutes, but she's picked up 3 fouls. And she has been one of the answers to try to guard Crooks. And they're calling this one really closely now. There's another foul. Olsen called for the foul. There's Kim Barnes-Arico explaining to Michael McConnell why it wasn't a foul in her eyes.
We had what, 3 fouls and a violation called without a shot attempt in that end of the court?
Yes, that will go on a reel for officials to look at. 10 turnovers now for Iowa State. You see Michigan has scored 11 points off of them.
Well, if you're Michigan, you've got to take advantage right now with no Audie Crooks on the floor. There have been a few possessions where they have not been able to do it.
Grabowskaia's turnaround is short. Brown still looking for her first shot attempt.
Yeah, you got to get Addie Brown going. You got to find a way to get her a touch, find a way to get her a shot. See that hard show right there, and it forces Iowa State to run offense in the logo.
Now the switch. They switch back before they could get it back to Brown, take advantage of it. Emily Ryan's going to have to shoot. Not in time for Brown. One pass too many. 11th turnover.
The activity. Kim Barnes-Arico talked about it, their activity level. Look, they play small, so sometimes they can be at an advantage or disadvantage on the interior. But the activity on the perimeter, the ability to show bodies, the ability to force offenses to play out beyond the three-point line can neutralize their lack of size.
Olsen gets it over to Holloway. Stepped on the baseline. Another turnover for Michigan. Iowa State, meanwhile, have gone 2.5 minutes without a score, and during that time they turned the ball over 3 times, but still just down 5. Crooks in the game. Got the rebound and the putback.
Those are the ones you can't have if you're Michigan. You're matched up with Audie Crooks. You got to be able to keep her off the glass, and this is a way for Audie to get herself going.
Playing against Grabowskaia right there, who has 3 personal fouls. Her turnaround. Grabbed by Tanky. Inside, too easy. Timeout. Michigan. Crooks with back-to-back buckets. It's a 1-point game.
Audie Crooks is starting to heat up a little bit. Great job of getting herself going on the offensive glass, and in transition just buries Grabowskaia.
Let's check out who is fueling the run. Brought to you by Wendy's, and it's the All-American Audie Crooks.
Yeah, well, when she gets 2 feet in the paint, you can't stop her. She's got 9 points early, 4 or 5 from the floor. So when Iowa State has been able to give her touches, they have found success. Active on the offensive glass as well. It might be a little bit different than it has been because of the way that Michigan is helping, but the patience and being intentional about getting her touches is going to be important.
A lot of people love Audie Crooks. She's a kid from northern Iowa, a very small town called Algona. Take a look at our game summary. Jordan Hobbs, the senior, has as many points as the rest of her team. Michigan taking advantage of second chance points, but the Wolverines' turn now for a drought. They haven't scored in 2.5 minutes. Iowa State has not led in this game. And Audie, as you see, has hit all 3 of her shots in this quarter. Hobbs short. Rebound for Brown, who does everything. Was terrific against Princeton.
You've got to continue to force that. You're going to heavy help on the lob, force the skip. You got to continue to make Iowa State make those shots.
Olsen missed and then could not corral the rebound. Take another timeout. Michigan clinging to a 1-point lead. Welcome back to Notre Dame. That's Elise Lambert, who was a student manager for Iowa State, but so much more. She was diagnosed with a brain tumor when she was 4 years of age and has been around this Cyclones program ever since. And what a great story it was. Fortunately, she was misdiagnosed, still a brain tumor, but not as serious as they thought it would be, or certainly as fatal as it could have been. And obviously, she's still with us, and now is a student manager as a freshman.
Well, incredible. Went through the Make-A-Wish Foundation and was able to get a locker and be a part of the Iowa State team as that 4-year-old. And through all of her hardships, her trials, her tribulations, comes out and is now a part of this Iowa State Cyclone team as a student manager. Just an incredible story. The connection with she and her family with this program, with Bill Fennelly.
And it's gone through the program because Emily Ryan, when she signed, was certainly familiar with Elise, and something that Bill Fennelly and his staff have kept going. And she is a very important part now and a student at Iowa State. And right now they are just a point behind Michigan. We are in Notre Dame. This is the Birmingham 3 regional. And we have Notre Dame coming up against Stephen F. Austin, but Regional 2 is the other regional in Birmingham, where South Carolina is the #1 seed. Maryland, Norfolk State, that could be a really interesting game, as Maryland, to me, is surprise host, getting the 4 seed.
Well, Maryland started out hot and then had some injuries, had to regroup, had to find themselves again.
Addie Brown, that's an Addie Brown look right there, isn't it? Very intense on the floor. Basketball fans familiar with her sister Kennedy Brown, who finished up at Duke. Very different kinds of players.
Yeah, really different kinds of players. Kennedy playing exclusively post position, and Addie's versatility. Bill Fennelly comps her to Bridget Carlton, and his first bucket of the ball game for Addie Brown.
Right out of the timeout. Brown 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists, all NCAA career highs. And she's just a sophomore. Finally, the drought is broken for Michigan. They'd gone over 3 minutes without a point. Camp Schrader made the bucket.
And Camp Schrader's going to have those all day long because Audie Crooks is going to stay in the paint. She doesn't come out. So utilizing Camp Schrader as a screener and then pop out to get those 3-point shots.
Wilson missed, but they get a second chance with Brown back-to-back buckets. Camp Schrader is listed as a post, but she's a guard. Was a guard her first couple of years. There she takes steps.
And Jordan Hobbs telling her to shoot the open shot. But Addie Brown, you knew it was going to be a matter of time before she got herself going. And again, you see her versatility on display. She backs the smaller player down the possession before and gets a post up. And there, because of her ability to shoot the 3-point shot, hard closeout, she attacks the rim.
And with Emily Ryan out of the game, she also has the ability to bring the ball up the floor. Crooks, the double comes.
It was late. The double was late. You can't come once Audie Crooks is already into her move. You got to come on the dribble.
Foul called on Crockett, junior from Westfield, Indiana. Only averages about 7 minutes per game, but it's all hands on deck because you're trying to guard Audie Crooks.
Yeah, and the only way to guard Audie Crooks is to keep her from getting the ball, right? You got to have 2 on her, and I think about way back in the day when Brittany Griner was playing at Baylor and what Jeff Walls in Louisville did, where you kind of sandwiched her, right, with a player in front, a player behind. That's a challenge with Iowa State because of the way they shoot the 3-point shot.
It was a very famous NCAA game in which Baylor was a huge favorite to beat Louisville, and his tactics worked. It was a very physical game, and Louisville was able to upset Baylor. Shoni Schimmel with that, remember she hit the layup over Griner?
Yes. Shoni Schimmel played with a little swag back in the day.
Not quite sure what this delay is about. We're getting an explanation from Michael McConnell right now.
Yeah, Michigan was considering appealing the foul call because they felt like there was an elbow to the head prior to, and then decided against.
Crooks has improved her free throw shooting, just 69% on the season. It's 1 out of 2. Coach Finley talks about how her defense is getting better, rebounding, but still work to do.
Yeah, I mean, those are areas of growth for her. And you know, he talks about her ability to defend, not just in the two-man. She's going to have to learn to come outside the paint.
Olsen chose not to challenge Crooks. Drives the baseline, floater well short. Iowa State, its first lead of the game. And they extend it. That's Tanky.
How about Eiley Tanky coming in? You mentioned it, didn't play against Princeton in the first round. Doesn't play a ton of, or doesn't get a lot of shots in her minutes that she plays. Shoots at 30% from the three-point line. If you're Michigan, that's the one you're leaving open. She's stepping up and knocking them down.
Only had 19 threes coming into this game. She has a couple right now. And Michigan not getting a lot of second chances. Olsen just 1 of 8 from the floor. Swords 1 of 6, so 2 for 14 for their 2 leading scorers. Crooks, bye-bye. It's an 8-0 Cyclone run.
And Pam, that was an outstanding pass by Addie Brown, right on the money.
Crockett threw it away, thought Olsen would cut left, and she did not.
Well, there's going to be heavy help. And again, Addie Brown making the right read, finding the three-point shooter. Tanky knocks it down, and then the pass on the money. There was no help weak side. Addie Brown read it. Audie Crooks held her position, and that was an easy 2.
Another foul. Crooks is unstoppable right now.
But what allowed Michigan to have so much success in the first quarter was activity level. They were early in their help. They were heavy pressure on the ball. That hasn't happened in the second quarter. And as Addie Brown tells us, sometimes Audie gets going and she starts cooking.
And we figured coming into this matchup that because Michigan does not have size, that it would be an issue. And they're trying to use different combinations to stop Crooks.
Well, it's not going to be standing behind, and you've got to have activity level. You got to have somebody in front. You've got to continue to move if you're that person who is asked to check Audie Crooks, and you've got to have heavy ball pressure.
Yeah, that's, as you said, you got to keep her from getting the ball in that position because it's all over if she does. 11 of Audie's 14 points have come in this quarter as she takes a rest on the bench.
And again, you continue to see as Emily Ryan's on the bench and her minutes have been managed all season long. Addie Brown plays that point.
Michigan being outscored by 14 points in this quarter. Quickly, Jones comes in to play defense. Harris goes out. Check that they get Brown, which is really smart. You don't want her to get her 3rd foul.
And Bill Finley really upset with Reagan Wilson wanting her to shoot that ball when she had the open look.
And Wilson, a fiery freshman from Noblesville, Indiana. She's the one with the mask, broke her nose in fall camp, fall practice, and has worn the mask all year. The 10-0 Iowa State run. Michigan's gone almost 3 minutes without a point. Tipped by Harris. And then Harris runs into Olsen, a little chancy. Well, Olsen was able to draw the charge. Holloway, cut off. Swords popping out after getting a screen, throws up the three and hits it. Finally, a three falls for Swords, their best three-point shooter. Well, Iowa State with a terrific second quarter. In the first quarter, it was Jordan Hobbs getting most of the work done for Michigan, but then it was the Audi show in the second quarter. Iowa leads by 5 in this first round game. Let's get you to the studio and Kelsey. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. You're watching the first round presented by Intuit TurboTax. You know where we are when you see Touchdown Jesus, the campus of Notre Dame, where Michigan is trailing by 5. I wonder if they're sitting outside in the cold. They will. Indiana people are tough.
It was sunny and pseudo-warm.
She's a tough Indiana person. That's Stephanie White. I'm Pam Ward. This is a first-round game. Iowa State and Audie Crooks, a little bit of a slow start, then they got it going.
Yeah, I thought Michigan did a really good job early in their activity level on the defensive end of sending multiple bodies, of making things difficult for her on the interior. Got her into early foul trouble, which has to be the goal. There's no question about it. But in the second quarter, Audie Crooks got herself going. Really good job of moving her around, attacking off the bounce, establishing interior position, getting herself going on the offensive glass. There is no answer for her when she gets that deep in the paint. And I felt like in the second quarter, she took over, she took off, and you can see the shot chart right there. There's no defense for that.
So, let's take a look now at our moving on, brought to you by United. And the last couple of times in the NCAA tournament with their wins, Iowa State really has moved on. They trailed by 20 to Maryland in the first round last year and came back to win, and were down 15 to Princeton early in the third quarter. In the first 4, came back for a victory. They were down by as many as 8 in this game, and now they're up by 5. The winner gets the winner of Notre Dame, Stephen F. Austin. Silas Swords with another miss. She is now 2 of 9 from the floor. They're a freshman from Sudbury, Ontario, among their leading scorers. And boy, if you're Iowa State, you're seeing shots fall for Jackson. That's a great sign. That's her second 3.
Hey, look, and that's what it's going to take to be successful, because 2 players are going to go to Audie Crooks in this second half, and those open players have to knock down shots.
Camp Schrader with the miss. A lot of one-and-dones, too, for Michigan. And as we start this third quarter, there's Crooks. Same result. And for Camp Schrader, that's not fair. Camp Schrader, listed at 6'1", has been a guard her entire career, playing some post now and with Michigan as a starter. Another miss. Emily Ryan chases it down. Iowa State up 42-32 with 8.5 minutes left to go in the third. Hobbs right there for the rebound. Hobbs got off to a terrific start in this game. Iowa State on a 15-3 run. Swords saw Crooks and passed it out. Audie with the rebound.
When Michigan had their success offensively early, it was transition. It was attacking the rim, getting some easy ones on the interior. They've not shot the 3-ball very well, and that's all they're getting early in this second half.
Just 4 of 18 from distance. That's 22% on the game. Camp Schrader hits one. Camp Schrader, freshman year at Oregon State, now her 3rd year at Michigan. She's not even the tallest starter, and she's having to play the post at just 6'1".
But that little bit right there for Hobbs. Hobbs stayed there, she helped, she didn't allow the pass on the interior. You had a secondary defender on the backside ready to rotate to Brown on that shot. That's what it's gonna take.
Hobbs, another 3 for Michigan, trying to shoot themselves back into it. 42-38, Michigan down 4. With just over 7 minutes to go. 6 seed against an 11. Iowa State trying to pull off the upset. Ryan. Most assists in the history of Big 12 women's basketball. Crooks might have gotten away with an extra step. Olsen. Holloway, quick pass, good look for Swords. And she can't find the bottom of the net. Ryan, the fifth-year senior, being guarded by the true freshman in Swords. Again, Michigan starting 3 true freshmen. Hobbs, the senior, makes the play.
And that's Emily Ryan's 6th turnover of the ball game.
Foul. I think they're going to get Jackson. Yep, that's Jackson's second. And when Emily Ryan turns the ball over, statistically, it's not a good thing for Iowa State wins, losses-wise.
It's not. Iowa State's 2-5 when she has 5 or more. But her assist to turnover ratio in their losses is just at 1.2. It's more than double that in their wins.
Ryan's still out there as Hobbs goes to the line. For the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. You're home for all 90 NCAA championships, culminating April 6th in Tampa with the championship game on ABC.
Bill Finley talked to us in practice yesterday about he felt like Emily Ryan might have been feeling a little bit of that potentially my last game the other night against Princeton, especially in that 3rd quarter. She rebounded in the 4th. Could she be feeling a little bit of that today?
Feeling that 3.
Most experienced player on the floor. If she is, she settles in and she just becomes the leader that this team needs.
In and out, rebound by Williams. Addie Brown, what a pass! Addie Brown is terrific in all phases of the game. She just found Williams. He is second on this team in assists behind Brown, averaging over 5 per game.
And didn't have a field goal attempt early, was in foul trouble, but was still facilitating.
Holloway missed the 3. That goes over the backboard, and they got a foul on Iowa State's Williams as we go to break with this.
No, this is just a great drive. There's the first rotation, but not a second for the Wolverines. Iowa State able to capitalize. Williams gets the 2.
Welcome back. Michigan trailing by 7 as we take a look at our bracket here. Regional 3 in Birmingham. This is a first-round game. Iowa State won a first 4 over Princeton, taking on Michigan right now. And when this is finished, we'll get you over to ESPN for Notre Dame and Stephen F. Austin. Second round Sunday. And whoever wins on Sunday goes to Birmingham. The Michigan freshmen starting 3 all season long, but so far in their first NCAA games, they are struggling a combined 21% from the floor.
Yeah, they've really struggled offensively. They've gotten some good looks, but they have not been able to capitalize. And again, Michigan as a whole, the way they got themselves going was in transition. Their defense fueled their offense. They forced 13 turnovers in that first half. The majority of those in the first quarter. They've got to get back to starting it on the defensive end of the floor.
And you see they're shooting only 30% from the floor overall. Have taken a lot of 3s. Hobbs, their lone senior starter.
How did that go in?
Oh man, she's got 20, which is just 4 off of her career high. As she set against Indiana this year. Pressure from Michigan, a little chaos. Brown settles into Crooks, and Crooks takes Hobbs to the hole. Emily Ryan.
So we mentioned Emily Ryan was struggling turning the ball over in the first half. So what is the adjustment? Addie Brown is initiating offense. She uses her size. She's able to find the right pass, able to get Iowa State moving a little bit. And that's a great attack by Jones and drop off.
Jones with the assist. Olsen passed up the three. Crooks with yet another 20-point game. Her 24th of the season. Holloway, open look. And they're not getting any offensive rebounds when they do miss. Ryan, fouled by Quarles-Daniels.
Oh, this is, again, a great drive, and you don't overhelp. Jordan Hobbs doesn't want to overhelp, but she's in the in-between. She doesn't really stay with Crooks, and she doesn't really go, so Audie Crooks able to get to two.
You don't want to be in the in-between.
You don't want to be in the gray.
Difficult enough trying to defend Crooks. So Quarles-Daniels, who just picked up her second foul, gets subbed out. First time we've seen Macy Brown, a sophomore from East Grand Rapids, Michigan. Ann Arbor, by the way, about 2.5 hours away from South Bend, so quite a few maize and blue fans in the stands. And Crooks was calling for it. Now she gets it, kicks it back out. Rebound fought for. Taken away. Here's Swords. Trying to get something going and uses her offhand to finish over Ryan. The first points of the second half. Sila had 26 points in the Big Ten semifinal loss to USC. That's good defense there by Quarles-Daniels.
In the last couple of possessions, Michigan sending a couple of defenders to the ball handler at half court, and here just a great job of getting in, deflecting the pass out, allowing Swords to get into transition.
As you mentioned, that was what got them going in the first quarter. Very active on the defensive end, forcing turnovers and scoring in transition. Jordan Hobbs, the senior, single-handedly keeping them close. Her fourth three of the game.
The only returning player for Michigan who played double-figure minutes, the only returning starter, taking this team on her shoulders.
Brown spun out of it. Rebound by Macy Brown. And that was a challenge. Quarles-Daniels going right after Crooks, and it resulted in a turnover. Jordan Hobbs, whose parents actually contacted Coach Barnes-Arico after all of the several transferred out and said, and emailed her, gave her some support and said, we're all in. Jordan was all in, and that meant a lot to Coach. We got a quick look there of Jordan's family.
Oh, wow. A lot of playing time goes to these young players. Kim Barnes-Arico gives her veteran group, her returners, a lot of credit for their leadership, for their ability to stay together, knowing that it was going to be a different look, for being all in.
Jackson with her third three of the game. Gets the lead up to 7, and then she makes another play on the defensive end to deflect it out of bounds.
And this is just outstanding hustle by Jackson. Just when you think she might be beat, she lays it out there. Keeps Michigan from an easy two. But again, if you're Michigan, when you go to take Audie Crooks away, you're going to leave someone open. And Iowa State, give them credit, they are stepping up and knocking down shots.
Swords for three. 5 of her 10 points coming in this quarter.
But you see this right here, the pressure on the ball handler. Takes time off the clock, maybe rushes Iowa State just a little bit, and now you're starting offense with 13 seconds on the clock.
Air ball on the 3, but Jackson, who else was able to try to save it? This is a 3-on-2. Olsen driving on Ryan, and as she falls to the floor, a foul is called on Ryan. Second on her. Jones comes out for Tanky, who hit a couple of threes in the first half after not playing at all in the first 4 game Wednesday against Princeton. Inbounds, Olsen off the rim. Swords. Couldn't save it, but Hobbs did. Then Olsen called for it and nailed it. Michigan right back in it. It's a 6-0 run. The freshman with back-to-back threes, Swords and Olsen. In the waning seconds of the quarter, good help coming over from Brown.
I thought Brown was going to be a little late, but great job of not trying to get the steal, just deflecting it out of bounds. I mean, but look at these plays. I mean, we're talking about 2 young players who have struggled from the floor in their first NCAA tournament game. You don't see sulking, you don't see bad body language, you don't see anything but confidence, stepping up and knocking down big shots.
And another foul, this time against Michigan on the inbounds attempt. Third foul on Quarles Daniels with 4 seconds left to go. Ryan inbounds. Brown to Crooks, it bounces around, and Ryan put it up on a busted play. The only senior on the roster gives them the 3-point lead with 10 minutes left to go. They're getting some big threes from Jackson. We go to the 4th. Time to take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance, and it's the senior Jordan Hobbs.
Well, the only returning starter on this Michigan roster. She's putting this team on her shoulders, at least from a scoring standpoint, has 23, really carried them in the first half, has set the tone, has been a leader, has been vocal in the huddles as well. Now this is the Michigan team, and we've mentioned it, they've got 8 new players, they start 3 freshmen. Jordan Hobbs, the most experienced player on this roster, wheeling her team right now.
Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you from South Bend, Indiana. First of 2 first-round games coming your way in this Birmingham 3 regional. Holloway. Getting it into Quarles Daniels, and count it! It's been a rough day for Olsen shooting-wise, but she's got a chance to tie it.
Hey, and what a possession by Michigan, because Audie Crooks did not guard Quarles Daniels at all. And Quarles Daniels takes it right into her. She stays patient. She finds the cutting Olivia Olsen. I mean, this is great job of attacking. There was a tight window right there. Olsen gets to 2.
And she ties it up. Third foul, by the way, on Emily Ryan. The sole senior, there she is with the ball in her hands, the 5th-year senior who broke Nia Johnson's Big 12 record for career assists earlier in this game. Michigan had trailed by as many as 10 in the 3rd quarter. And now we're tied. Olsen with the board. Holloway. All 3 freshmen touch the ball in that possession, and Holloway finishes.
And this is exactly how Michigan started the ball game, right? Attacking in transition. You've got to be able to finish the play, get the defensive rebound, get out in transition, and get to the rim.
Michigan leading for the first time since 29-27.
good defensive possession. They come up with the defensive rebound and push in transition. Quarles Daniels has like 3 players guarding her on that cut. Opens up Holloway, who streaks to the rim.
Quarles Daniels just picked up her 4th foul, so she goes out. Camp Schrader, starter, comes back in. So the starting 5 out there right now for Michigan.
And with Camp Schrader on the floor, that's another offensive threat, right? So the challenge is, how will Audie Crooks defend now?
That was a sweet pass from Ryan, who got it into Brown, who was fouled.
I mean, a great job, good cut. Addie Brown's going to get going in this 4th quarter. I mean, she's been quiet offensively in terms of scoring. She's been outstanding facilitating with her 9 assists.
Holloway picks up her 1st foul to send Brown to the line, coming off a 22-point performance against Princeton. Crooks had 27. Last time they had 2 20-point scorers in an NCAA game was back in 2022. Ashley Jones and Emily Ryan, who is still here with Iowa State.
Iowa State continuing to mix up their zone and man.
Holloway found Olsen right at the free throw line.
In the 2nd quarter, Michigan allowed the 2-3 zone to make them stagnant, to just chuck up a lot of threes. Now they're finding ways to still attack the rim and get rhythm threes.
Look how fired up Hobbs is, because she just drew the 3rd foul on Audie Crooks. So Crooks with 3, along with Emily Ryan for Iowa State. Quarles Daniels has 4 for Michigan. Holloway chased it down, and they're saying it's off of Iowa State. 20 seconds to shoot. For Michigan, outscoring Iowa State 7-1 in the first couple of minutes of this quarter. Ryan waits for some numbers. Cross court, somehow that got through to Tanky. Inside, Crooks passed it out. Got it back. Oh, man. She makes that, what, 98 times out of 100?
Yeah, she sure does. And that was really good ball movement by Iowa State.
Almost taken away.
Somebody's going to be open, because Audie Crooks is not coming out of the paint. So doing a good job of finding it in a timely manner.
Olsen.
Ooh, she got fouled, yes.
Yep, on the turnaround.
So Michigan had 3 different players that flashed into that free throw line area. And Bill Finley, you saw the frustration. They found a jump shooter. It's like, coaches, pull your hair out.
Do you?
Yes.
First-hand experience with that?
Adds a few more grays, too.
Olsen at the line. It's one of 2 Olivias we will see today who are pretty good guards.
Yes.
Olivia Miles and our, I would say nightcap, but
tea time.
Tea time, yes. So Michigan coming back from 10 down, leading by 5. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Instacart. We're here. In the 3rd quarter, Michigan was down by 10, but they have stormed back.
A 9-1 run to start the 4th. They got back to doing what they were successful with early. That was attacking the paint. If they weren't getting layups, they were finding their open teammates, knocking down shots, creating offense from their defense, much more activity on the defensive end.
We check out today's game track brought to you by Invesco QQQ. It's the senior Jordan Hobbs doing a lot of the work. Audie Crooks with another 20-point game, but as Steph mentioned, Michigan outscoring Iowa State 9-1 in this quarter. Iowa State's only taken 2 shots from the floor in this quarter. Winner will get the winner of Notre Dame and Stephen F. Austin. Yeah, no surprise that right out of the timeout, they want to go to Crooks. In that highlight package we just showed you, everybody we showed you was a true freshman.
Yes, yes. And again, they've got great balance, multiple players that can score it. The challenge is to not get content with just passing around the perimeter against this zone. Yes, nice.
That's nice to take Crooks off the bounce by Camp Schrader. Greta now into double figures.
And Pam, towards the end of the third quarter, it was subtle, but the two players that picked up the ball handler in the backcourt and in the front court allowed Michigan to set their defense. And here's Camp Schrader. Great job of subtle shot fake. She brings Audie Crooks out just enough to get to the rim.
Jordan Hobbs just picked up her first foul. Defending Crooks now in the post. Brown gets it to her. Audie with a little turnaround, doesn't get the roll.
And you'll live with that if you're Michigan. You get Audie Crooks shooting that little 8 to 10 foot jump shot.
That's a toughie from Holloway.
A toughie. I knew it was going to come out sooner or later.
The freshman from Charlotte, starting point guard since day one. Iowa State needs another of their patented turnarounds and comeback wins. That helps. Harris with the three, her second of the game.
Sydney Harris, Eiley Tanky, Ariana Jackson. Big time threes from those three on the floor.
Michigan has no points from their bench players. The bench has played a big role for the Cyclones. Brown gets the rebound. She's on a triple watch alert, or triple double alert. It's the double-double. She has 9 assists now and rebounds. Her scoring is down, and there's your great equalizer. The three. And Jackson. And all of a sudden, it's a one-point game. Holloway, open look, and she buried the three. Had missed her first 5 from distance before that one went in.
I'm just so impressed with these freshmen from Michigan. You don't see any frustration. You don't see any disappointment. You don't see anything but confidence every time they touch the ball.
Crooks rolls it in. It's Audie Crooks' time. She owned the fourth quarter against Princeton in the first 4 on Wednesday. Another three from Camp Schrader. Everybody's heating up. Iowa State's hit 3 straight shots. Michigan 4 of their last 5. Why not? Go right back to Crooks. Hobbs, her turn to take a three, have a day. A new career high for Jordan Hobbs.
Let's go, Pam, shot makers.
26 for the senior.
Each team answering one another. Big shots on both ends of the floor. The senior knocks it down for the Wolverines.
Welcome back to Notre Dame. What a last few minutes we have had. How about both teams combining to hit 7 straight shots?
Hey, it's been an offensive explosion, shot making at its best. We saw both teams struggle a little bit early in the ball game. But Pam, I've been really impressed with Iowa State. And you think about Sydney Harris, Eiley Tanky, and Ariana Jackson. 8 threes between the 3 of them. And if you're game planning, those are the 3 that you want taking shots, and they're stepping up and making them.
Ryan just missed. And bench points, 16 for Iowa State, none at all for Michigan.
And I'm surprised Iowa State didn't go to Audie Crooks there, because typically after timeouts, she's always getting a touch.
Yeah, she's been money. Ryan got the driving layup and missed it. Shot clock into single digits for Hobbs. And Ryan got a hand on it, a scrum, and the officials say it is Michigan basketball. Nick Schrader checks back in.
Yeah, that was going to be short-lived with Corals Daniels because they don't have to guard, and it looks like that might have went off of Corals Daniels' foot.
Michigan takes a timeout. They have a 6-point lead. 4 seconds on the shot clock, so what do we draw up?
Well, Kim Barnes-Arico is wanting to get a shot right here. You're going to want to set a lot of off-ball screens, you know, but you got to understand who you're screening because Iowa State likes to play zone out of bounds. Understand who you're screening and what looks you're going to get with 4 seconds left, but that's still plenty of time. It's not like you have to chuck up a shot on the first touch. But I like the substitution. Get Camp Schrader back in the ballgame. That's a 5th person on the floor that you have to guard on the perimeter. You cannot allow Audie Crooks to just stand in the paint and not defend.
Iowa State has not won 2 games in the tournament since they went to the Sweet 16 a few years ago. And there's their super sophomore Crooks. For Michigan, boy, they've really heated up in this quarter. Holloway has not missed a shot. Swords needs it to shoot. Get it up. Nope. Shot clock violation. And Barnes-Arico got emotional yesterday when she talked about the journey with this team. Not much expected. They were down last April. They had 4 players on their roster. They knew they had freshmen coming in, but when you have turnover like that, you're not sure. All the freshmen stayed the course, came in, and they have won 22 games.
And the offensive-defensive substitution with Corals Daniels and Camp Schrader and Audie Crooks, she might have had an and one there.
28 for Audie. She had 27 against Princeton a couple of days ago. 4-point game. Hobbs rolling on Brown. Jordan Hobbs with a magical afternoon. 28 points.
That was a heck of a shot by Jordan Hobbs. Good balance, under control, got her eyes on the rim.
Kick it out to Ryan for 3. Rebound. A big one by Corals Daniels. Inside 2 minutes. She's going to take a little bit of time.
And this is, again, where you're impressed with this young team. Understanding time and score, understanding game management, execution, who to get the ball to win.
Olsen off the rim. Addie Brown, who has only taken 2 shots, got the board. That Brown has made 2 shots, only taken 4. There's her 5th. Hits it!
It's a matter of time, right? It's a matter of time. In foul trouble early, so comes back and is much more of a facilitator. But when it comes to winning time, Addie Brown's going to step up.
Time out. Michigan with the ball, but only a 3-point lead because of Addie Brown's big one.
I mean, the dribble punch. If you're Michigan, you get sucked into that and you leave an outstanding 3-point shooter in Addie Brown.
So there is your reset. Michigan with the ball, the possession arrow, all important, and goes to Iowa State. 1 foul to give for both teams. Iowa State has hit 6 of its last 8 shots. Audie Crooks part of that, but that huge 3 by Brown.
And Kim Barnes-Arico really wants to make sure that she gives her team a good look. They do a good job of sharing the basketball, of moving without the basketball, and you could see right there in the huddle, Jordan Hobbs is talking, everyone is listening.
Addie Brown not taking a lot of shots, but she got 10 assists. Almost had a triple-double against Princeton. And she's hunting another one this afternoon. And she's just a sophomore. Again, we talked, this sophomore class across the board in the country is unbelievable, and she's one of them.
Well, she had 41 in their first game of the Big 12 tournament against Arizona State, so she can fill it up. And You know, for Michigan right here, you want to get a good look. You know, time is on your side. You've got time right here. Want to make sure you execute. Be great screeners. Stay aggressive to the rim.
Holloway over to Schrader. Hobbs. Short. Rebound. Jackson got it up to Ryan. The three. No good by Harris. And then a subsequent foul on Brown.
Well, there's plenty of time right here. I mean, it's a one-possession game. You're going to get the ball back. You've got to defend without fouling.
Harris pulled the trigger on that one rather quickly. That three would have tied it.
I thought it was a good look. And the way that she'd been shooting the ball.
Iowa State needing a stop right now.
Swords is coming back.
There she is. Hobbs gave her the screen. Olsen, the other freshman. Turn around. Got it! Olivia Olsen gives him the 5-point advantage.
Olivia Olsen struggled from the floor for most of this ball game. She's found it in the fourth, and no shot bigger than this one right here. The shot clock winding down, looking for the dribble attack. Sees the help defender, stays on balance, and that's that 6'1". I think she's closer to 6'2" frame, being able to elevate and hit that tough bucket.
Yeah, Olivia Olsen, what a future she has. A true freshman, Big Ten co-freshman of the year, with a huge shot to make it a 2-possession ball game with just over 20 seconds left to go. Iowa State calling the timeout, so they advance it to the front court. And Addie Brown, that was good defense too on
Yes,
Olsen.
that was really good defense. Good offense beats good defense every day of the week. And now you want to defend without fouling. If you're Iowa State, get a quick score.
Crooks for three. That's off. Huge rebound for Swords. Their leading rebounder during the season, the true freshman, with a huge board.
Swords is sneaky in there. She gets in there. She gets some offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds.
Yeah, she's listed at 6 feet tall. Second team All Big Ten. Her dad, Sean, played for Canada in the Sydney Olympics. She played for Canada in the Paris Olympics, and now she can salt this game away.
Well, how about for her dad, Sean? He's assistant coach with Brooklyn in the G League, and they play in Detroit tomorrow. So what an opportunity for the Swords family to be able to be here and then head over to Detroit.
Good representation in the stands. Her sister, Savvy, is a junior in high school and is being recruited by a lot of great programs. 1 out of 2 for Swords at the line. Now just 14 seconds left to go for Iowa State. This is what's going on here in South Bend, the Regional 3 in Birmingham. When we're finished, flip over to ESPN, where at the top of the hour we will have Notre Dame and Stephen F. Austin. The Irish have lost 3 of their last 5 games, all to ranked teams. But we'll see if this week in between they've been able to get their juju back.
Yeah, they needed this time off, and you'll be talking about how it allowed them to reset, allowed them to get back to the basics, address some areas of slippage. You know they're hungry.
They can't wait to get out. It's going to be a full house here at the Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center. But right now, Addie Brown and the rest of the Cyclones need a mini miracle.
Well, you got to get a quick score. I mean, it's a 2-possession game. You got to get a quick score, then you got to turn right back around and foul. And if you're Kim Barnes-Arico, you're talking about defending the 3-point line, no threes, no fouls. Will be interesting to see if she decides to utilize a timeout if Iowa State does in fact get a score here.
Ryan. Inbounds. Brown. Guarded by Olsen. Ryan finally just threw it up. Hobbs fittingly grabs the rebound, and Michigan calls a timeout. Jordan Hobbs, 28 points, her 6th rebound of the game. Did not miss a free throw. Career high for her. The 28 points, by the way, ties a Michigan NCAA record. Leah Brown had 28 in a game 4 years ago. And what a way for the senior.
Well, right here, Jordan Hobbs gets the board and certainly knows that they're going to foul, but didn't want the tie-up to happen. So smart play to be able to call that timeout. Michigan now can advance the basketball.
And Jordan Hobbs, the lone returning starter, the senior who as a freshman played 5 minutes a game, averaged about a point, stuck with it, hung in there, was a great student athlete. All the turmoil of the offseason before her senior year, and it's about to pay off with a win in the NCAA tournament. And I don't think anybody with this program could have envisioned this last year.
And you think about even the early in this season, first game open up against South Carolina. And we asked Kim Barnes-Arico, did you see this happening? And she said no. And there were a couple of moments where she said, whoa, maybe it can, right, with this young group.
The Michigan Wolverines, with their 3 starting freshmen, get a big game from their senior, Jordan Hobbs. They scored 27 points in the 4th quarter. And Michigan advances to the 2nd round. Their first tournament win in a couple of years. And boy, what a career for Emily Ryan. Playing in her last collegiate game in this contest. She became the all-time assist leader in the history of the Big 12, breaking the record of Nia Johnson. Bill Fenley's team with 23 wins. Jordan Hobbs gets the hug. What a game for her. We will see them on Sunday. So for Stephanie White and our entire crew, I'm Pam Ward. We're going to see you over on ESPN at the top of the hour for Stephen F. Austin and Notre Dame. Michigan will play that winner on Sunday. More basketball coming your way. Let's go to Columbia, South Carolina, Indiana, Utah. Here's Courtney and Carol.